Hello my friends, welcome back to another tutorial. We had a vote on my Patreon page and my patrons would love to see me paint this beautiful still life. Sticking with the still life theme just for now. Moving on to waterfalls and stuff like that next week. So for now, I'm going to paint a beautiful still life. It's very warm, very inviting. It's like a fabric coming down at the background. Okay, a warm fabric with two lovely jugs or vases with some little red flowers popping out. I think really effective, really nice, really warm, really eye-catching. So I'm going to paint that for you this week. Thanks to my patrons for suggesting this. So here we go. A lot of fun coming up. Lots of colours. I have my canvas ready, my paints ready. Yes, thank you so much for your suggestion, my friends. Let's crack on and have a bit of fun with this. Okay, here we go, my friends. This is the canvas, 20 by 16. I have a quick sketch. There's a reference photograph. Isn't that gorgeous? Lovely colours, warm colours, light, nice brights, and a splash of red in the centre. I have a quick sketch done here, just very loosely. Here is my palette. I have titanium white, naples yellow, cadmium yellow pale, burnt sienna, alizarin crimson, phaylo blue, cadmium red, burnt umber, and lamp black. I primed my canvas once with just an oil-based white undercoat, a simple household undercoat, thinned out nice and thin, and a quick coat with that, let it dry, and rub very lightly with some sandpaper, just all over like this, okay? Lovely and smooth. Now what I'm going to do is, because I have such a big background on this, is I'm going to take some linseed oil, okay? Just regular artist's linseed oil. And I'm going to just give the background a quick rub with some of this. Just a little, okay? Just look, a little dab on some tissue. And just a quick once over the background. And I find that really helps to move the paint around and for blending afterwards, okay? It's very, very handy. So do try it. You can just try a little bit of turpentine as well if you don't have linseed oil. But this just makes the surface nice and slippery for your brush. And it helps all the colours move around nicely, I think. So look, very lightly, done. Just a quick once over. Let's put that away. And let's get right into start painting. I'm excited about this. This is going to be lovely. I hope it's going to be lovely, but it's going to be really fun to paint, I think. Now, I'm just going to give my brush a very quick clean on my tissue because I have a little bit of green on the brush. I'm going to take a large soft brush, okay? Now, what I could have done as well, and what you might like to do, is give this entire canvas a wash of maybe a light yellow ochre or a sienna or something like that, just to tint the whole canvas, because you can see the primary colour in most of this painting is like a yellow ochre or a raw sienna or a burnt sienna tone. You can see it has that tone behind it. So you could have just primed your canvas with raw sienna or something like that. I prefer to work on a white canvas because I can catch the highlights much better. That's the way I've always painted. That's just the way I like to paint. So I'm going to start blocking in this background. I'm going to start with these dark colours up on top. It's like a dark, warm, it's like a warm burnt sienna, browny kind of a colour, okay? So let's get that colour. Let's try and see if we can achieve that. I'm going to try some sienna with a touch of thinners. Now, only a touch, because remember, this is still already kind of oily, so not too much thinners. I'll try burnt sienna. I'm going to get some burnt umber. Now, these two colours on their own will be very translucent. And what I mean by that is because of the way they're kind of mixed in the tube when manufacturing, they're very sort of luminous. And by luminous, I mean very kind of translucent. You can see right through. You can see the way you can see right through onto my palette. They're very translucent colours. So if I put this on now, for instance, it doesn't have a lot of covering power. you can still see the brush strokes and the canvas behind. So I need to make this more opaque. So I'm going to simply take some Naples yellow. Naples yellow is a very thick, chalky, pasty kind of a colour. It's not translucent. So this now will make the colours much more opaque and help me cover the canvas much, much better. So a little Naples yellow as well, a little more burnt sienna, and you can see now already it's becoming more opaque. You see that? So it's covering much better. Let's take some burnt umber again in that. It's actually quite a dark colour on the background, but I'm going to stay on the side of caution and not go too dark too soon. I'll try a hint of crimson in this. Now I'm going to go with that for now. I will adjust it as I need, okay? I will adjust it, don't worry. Okay, let's go right across here. And I just simply want to cover most of my background. I go over as far as this line. You see that line with the bright is hitting the curtain or the fabric? I'm not sure it's a curtain or it's just like a blanket or a sheet or something. I'll just go as far as there for now. But you can see it is quite dark. So let's take some more burnt umber. I tried burnt umber, cadmium red. That will give us a slightly darker shade. And you can see now how the oil is really helping. I can really move the paint around. If this was just a raw dry canvas now, I would be forever kind of scrubbing it on and trying to get it to fill in. But the oil, it just really does help. It makes a huge difference. So here we go, just filling in this background. And even though it's a warm background, it's still a very dark, kind of a soft dark as well. There's a soft kind of a dark in there as well. I'll take burnt umber and crimson again. And I'm just going to start darkening here. And I suppose one way of achieving that kind of chalky fabric colour is to add some white in, okay? That will help cover as well. You see how much now that's after helping with the covering power. So I'm just going to pop a little white into that mix just here, and I'm going to go down. It's a beautiful colour on the fabric, isn't it? It's like a nice soft creamy whitey cream. But I'm going to start off with slightly darker colours, okay? And I'm going to kind of introduce lights into those colours then. Get more burnt umber in there. I go across the top, just around, roughly around our little vase. Is it vase or vase? I'm not sure, but it doesn't matter. Let's go around the vase like this, just very quickly. And follow the direction of that sheet, okay? You're always following that direction, and that tells you which way it's falling. A simple brush stroke can make all the difference with a painting like this. Now I'm going to start going into some black and some cadmium red. So now it's going to really start darkening, isn't it? You can see, you pick out the dark lines. Well, it comes sort of from here, and it comes out and up, doesn't it? Just put that in and then just soften it out. It doesn't matter if you go through your outline slightly, okay? It's completely fine. I'm going to take some burnt sienna in that. I'm going to pop some burnt sienna in there as well. So remember, for that kind of warm, rich background, I'm taking hints of cadmium red as well, okay? Cadmium red and sienna will give you that lovely, warm colour in the background. And of course, we don't have to copy this photograph exactly, okay? It's our painting. We can warm it more, we can make it darker. It's completely up to ourselves. If this is our painting, we can do what we like with it, okay? Now, I'm going to go in here with some nice dark, like that. I'm just looking at the photograph, and wherever there's a bend or a curve, you just go with that then, okay? Now let's soften this one in very slightly. So we have, I think, kind of the basis of our background colour done. I'm going to start introducing some darker, richer colours from here on, okay? So I'm giving my brush a quick clean, and I'm really not going to go very dark because I really want to help these jump out and pop out from the canvas. So I am going to go quite dark. Let me get some burnt umber for my palette, just to make sure I have plenty. I'm going to go burnt umber, let's see, burnt umber, plenty of black, and plenty of cadmium red, okay? I want to go nice and dark in here. So the aim of this really is to put in very dark lines while at the same time keeping them soft. They're not very harsh lines, okay? You can see it's just nice and soft as it comes across. So I'm not going very strong, sharp lines with this. I'm going to allow this to kind of soften through. And I'm going to soften it even into the front piece here. You see, just very gently with the brush. So now we have a strong dark line, but it's still soft. Okay, it's still nice and soft. I took some burnt sienna, and I'm actually going to take another touch of cadmium red, and I'm going to pop some cadmium red in here. The reason for that is I want these red little flowers to sort of bounce off of the curtain behind and the fabric behind it. I want that hint of red to bounce off of that fabric back here. So that will really give the impression as though the light is kind of bouncing against them both. Do you understand? So I think that will really help. Now, burnt umber, again behind this glass. You can see I'm bringing my brush strokes all the time in this direction, okay? Now, how's that looking so far? Okay, that's not bad. I am going to darken it on top. I'll take some burnt umber, and again, let's try some crimson. Burnt umber with crimson. I'm going to darken just around the top, just to give it more depth. So the light is almost coming downwards, and it's kind of dark up on top. Does that make sense? So I'm just going to soften the dark just from the top corner down. Okay, I go across now and start doing this one. Burnt umber, a little black, and a little hint of crimson perhaps. I'll start in here, comes down, and it curves in here, doesn't it? And just keep remembering, this is the early stages, okay? I will be kind of adding lights through this as well. I just want to kind of capture the nice dark warm colour behind these vases. That's what I just want to do right now, is just get that nice warm colour. It's a very warm dark, isn't it? Now it's even darker than that. I'm going to go with red and burnt umber. And I think I do need a bit more red in this. I'll get more cadmium red. And I'm actually going to take cadmium red with burnt sienna. Lots of cadmium red, lots of burnt sienna. I'm using lots of thick paint now, by the way, okay? Lots of thick paint on my brush. I'm not using any thinners because I have a lot of paint on my canvas now, so I'm not using thinners. Just picking up touches of paint and putting them directly on the canvas here and just moving them around, okay? Get that nice dark in here. It turns like that, doesn't it? Okay, I'm going to stop at that. Now what I'm going to do is just sharpen up some of the darks. Just those dark lines, I want to just sharpen them slightly. So I'm taking some black and some cadmium red. I'm just going to go in where it's nice and dark in here. Okay, and I'm going to just sharpen ever so slightly. And then soften it out, okay? Like that. Now sit back every now and again, stand back and just take a quick look. Okay, that's not bad. I'll do the same with this one over here. Take some cadmium red, touch of black, and I'll find that dark line just going up there like that. Don't worry if these lines now aren't perfectly straight, okay? They don't have to be perfectly straight. Soften it out nice and soft, just to get rid of the outside edge. And let's just go over it very lightly. As you can see, it's like a fold. So it's not a sharp line, it's more of a fold, softening from one side to the other, isn't it? Okay. Now, I know this looks very rich in colour compared to the photograph, but I will be softening all of this with the Naples yellow very soon. I'll be kind of going over some of this with Naples yellow and a bit of cadmium yellow, actually. So I'm going to be putting some little bit cadmium yellow through this. The next thing I want to do is, let's get this lighter colour in and maybe just get all of this filled in. So like we did with the last picture, the peaches, I'm just going to sort of fill in the background just to get my blocking in done. Now give my brush a good clean there. Right, I can see Naples yellow, cadmium yellow, and a little white in this. Little touch of turpentine, some white. And actually, I'll take Naples yellow, white, and a touch of burnt umber. Now that's a nice soft creamy colour, isn't it? Look, that's a lovely soft creamy colour. That now has a nice medium shade, I think is good. And I can add perhaps a touch of cadmium yellow with Naples yellow to this later. But I'll just get this colour in here for now. Again, just to get the canvas filled in. I go along here and I'm going to just soften it kind of at the curve where it sort of turns around. So there. How about that now, so far? That's not bad, is it? Now also, I'm going to take some Naples yellow and a little burnt sienna because I want to show you what I'm going to do next with this colour. So that's a nice kind of a warm colour, isn't it? I'm just going to go to the edge of this one where it stops, and I'm just going to kind of refine the edge of that with just a little touch of light. And I'm going to soften it back. So I basically just want to kind of show that it's kind of catching the edge of the fabric, that light. Okay, and then what I'm going to do while I have that colour, I'm going to just take some more Naples yellow, and we'll come down here and start lightening this ever so slightly. Okay, there we go. Now let me just turn my tissue here, just to keep it nice and clean. Always turn your tissue every now and then, just to keep it clean. I'm going to then start putting in some of the light down here. It's very bright, isn't it? And we have a lovely piece of fabric here as well. Let's take some Naples yellow, cadmium yellow, and some white. Put that there. Okay. We'll do all our little fine lights then very soon. but I just want to get all of this filled in. Take some white and a touch of Naples yellow. It's very bright, isn't it, down here? And you can see I already have a touch of colour on my brush from all of this. I'm not going to clean it properly. I'm just going to dip right into white and pop it through, because you're picking up some colour then from your brush, and that really helps to complement your work. See, just pop some of that in there. This section back here is softens together, doesn't it? I'm going to take some white with cadmium yellow, because I can see that colour back there, and I'm just going to kind of soften that colour through the two of these. Because I can see in this picture there is quite a lot of a cadmium yellow shading going on, highlights rather. I can kind of see that, and you probably can too. You can see quite an amount of cadmium yellow here and there, which is, I think, very nice. And that really kind of warms the painting, doesn't it? Let me get some more white and Naples yellow. And I'm going to go to a smaller brush. Okay, I'm going to start moving to my large stubby. Now, you can see the difference, okay? They're both the same size, but this one is really worn. It's a very old brush, and it's very thick with paint and all that. I'm going to go with this one because it's just new and nice sharp edge, okay? I'm going to dampen that. And I'm going to go into some cadmium yellow, some Naples yellow, some white. And I'm going to get that nice bright colour. And I'm going to just start softening that through. So that really brightens it up now, doesn't it? Okay, I'm going to come down here. There's a nice piece coming along here and it disappears up, doesn't it? Like that. So you can see how I just did that now, nice and simple. I just give it a little flick. That's it. Now I can see as well, I'm going to take some cadmium yellow, pale, and a touch of burnt sienna. Okay, and then some white, because it's a very warm yellow hue. Okay, I can see a very, very warm hue up here. I don't know if you can see that on the photograph now. You will need to download the photograph. You should see the link for the photograph in the description. If you just go to my Google Photos, you can download this photograph and use it for your own reference, okay? And again, look, I'm not going to try and copy all the colours identically, okay? I really don't like to copy everything identical. I'll try and make it a decent representation of it, but certainly I don't like to copy things to make them look like a photograph. I just don't have interest in that. I'm going to add another touch of this, just to complement this now. I'm going to add another touch of this colour over here. So you see I'm moving the same colours around on the canvas here and there, and your eyes then are kind of drawn across the canvas. Does that make sense? So I'm going to start warming all of these warm yellows, okay? Now my phone I have next to me here for the reference photograph just went dead, so there's no power left, so I can't see the reference photograph. It doesn't matter, I'm just still going to carry on, and look, I can carry on and just improvise this a little bit just for the background, okay? I don't need the reference photograph too much, really. I'm just going to take this lovely warm orangey hue. I'm just going to kind of go through this, just warm it slightly. It's really just to add a little warmth. Okay, so you can see now I went from very dark colours to lightening them now as we go, lightening, lighter and lighter as we go. More cadmium yellow and a hint of cadmium red. And I'm going to put that nice warm colour the beautiful warm colour like that up here, isn't there? It's really, there's a hint of an orange going through the fabric, isn't there? Now I'm going to do the same down here. And the beauty of oil painting is that all of these colours are softening together as you're going. Okay, so it's really making a lovely soft composition. It would be quite difficult to do this with acrylics. Now, of course, you can use mediums to slow the acrylics, but they just don't have the same, creamy texture as oils do. It's very difficult to achieve this type of a feeling with acrylic paint. I have used acrylics a long time in the past, for a very long time, for years and years, but I kind of settled on oils then because I just love the feeling of being able to pull the paint through like this and leave it soften out. I just love that feeling. I think it's fantastic, especially with the oils. So that's why I tend to focus on oils. Look, I could always buy a box of acrylic paints and do some acrylic tutorials for you, if you would like. Let me know what you think. I could purchase a box of basic colours and just have a go. We can just have a bit of fun with it. So yes, do let me know what you think. Should we do an acrylic tutorial? It is actually a lot of fun, by the way, acrylic painting. You can learn a lot. And the reason I became familiar with the oils and good at the oils is by using acrylics first, just to get used to colour composition and that kind of thing. So I think the acrylics helped me establish my painting technique very early on. So when I moved to oils, I had the basic know-how. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? So they were a very good base for me in which to start. Now, a little bit of light up here. Again, I'm not looking at the reference photograph, okay? I don't have it on my screen next to me. So I'm just going to go on my own. Okay, now I'm going to introduce a little bit of dark in up here. Just a touch of dark coming down. As a little hint of shading, let's call it. I picked up a little bit of black and red there, okay? And I'm just going to kind of pull this down ever so slightly. I'm hardly touching the canvas now with this, okay? You don't have to do this if you're a little worried about it. Just leave it as it is. But I'm just going to bring a little touch of shading down and soften it with my brush. Just to indicate the different layers of the fabric. Do you understand what I mean? Now, to make this side more alive, I am actually going to add a little of that cadmium yellow with burnt sienna. Okay? Now, I know it's not in the photograph. It's not in the photograph, but I'm just going to add a little touch of it. Let's say cadmium yellow with a touch of cadmium red and sienna. And I just want to kind of go along the outside edge here and just bring some of that colour across the canvas. I think it will really help tie everything together, because as it stands, we have a very light section of yellowy whites with a very dark section of browny reds. So try and incorporate some of them colours across your canvas here and there. And I think that will really help with your composition, and it balances out the painting. When you see artists talking about their compositions and stuff, you hear a lot of people talking about, balancing the painting and that kind of stuff. I'm no expert, but from what I've learned over the years is, balancing your painting really just means creating a composition that has just enough on either side and either point, or even just having a point of interest in the center, which is these, but also working your colors across the canvas, and it just helps the eye move across the canvas. Okay, that's just what I think. Okay, I may be wrong. I'm a self-taught artist, which means I just taught myself basically, and I don't know everything. Okay, believe me. take some of that sienna, some of that yellow. I'm going to just pop a little bit of that through here. I just like to think that I'm helping people paint. That's all. That's my goal. My sole goal in life is to help people paint and to share the wonderful gift of painting. I think that's very important. I think that'll do for now. One more thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some white and some yellow, and I'm going to just really add some bright whites up here. I think that final step now of bright whites will really bring this cloth to life. Okay, just like that, look. And again, as I said, I don't have a reference photograph in front of me. I'll switch on my phone in just a moment now. It should be charged up enough to switch on, at least. But I think it's fine. We'll drive on. We don't need our reference photograph for this background work. I think we can do just fine as we are. We don't need reference photographs, do we? So I apologize if you see me not looking at my reference photograph. I'm just going my own. I'm going to put in a nice bright hair for this piece turning. Another one here. It's just lots of nice swirly lines, as you can see in the fabric, isn't it? It's just lots of swirls. Now we have a nice dark coming down here. I'll pop a little bit of shading into this. So you can see the impression of that fabric, just sort of softening it out, just creating some little, shades on the fabric, little turns and curls up on the fabric. You see? I could put a few more. I mixed this lovely colour by just earlier. I mixed a bit of lamp black and crimson, and this gave me this beautiful pinky purple sort of a colour. Isn't it lovely? I'm going to just put a little piece back here to act as the shadow for this vase back here, and perhaps just create another one or two little turns in the fabric here and there. It's really only just to add a little bit of movement to this area, that's all. Okay, and I'm softening them all out then with my brush, you see. Now I'm going to clean that and just start adding a few lights to those. Now, isn't this coming on lovely so far? I think this is coming on very nice. Let me see if my phone will come back on for me here. Okay, it's powering up. I'm going to get some very brights for this. Simply just white, okay? And I'm going to just pop some white highlights on top of these. No thinners, just a bit of white on its own. And being lovely and soft with your brush strokes, okay? You see? Lovely and smooth as you bring your brush strokes around. Just remember, no straight lines. When you're painting fabric like this, I wouldn't be painting any straight lines. Always move your brush, okay? Nice and soft and swirly like that. So, How are we looking so far? Not bad, I hope. That's not bad, sure, is it? It's not exactly the same as what we're painting, but it doesn't have to be. It really doesn't, okay? I don't want it to be exactly the same. I'll use my smaller brush then very soon, just to kind of, you know, put in all these little small darks and lights, okay? In fact, I'm going to get one now. I'm going to get a nice small brush. Let's go with something like this, okay? And let's just take, I'm going to go, do you know what I'm going to do actually? Now, we don't have it in the photograph. I'm going to put a hint of a dark purple here and there. I'm going to take some phthalo blue with some thinners and some cadmium red, a bit of crimson. And I'm actually going to put a nice rich purple. This looks black to you now, but it's actually a very dark bluey purple, okay? A bit more crimson. I'm going to take some purple, and I'm going to put a hint of a dark purple. Just here and there. And I think that will really bring the dark to life, don't you think? Maybe a hint of it just in here. And you can go more reddy if you like. If you think that's a bit cold, you can always add a touch of red. Touch of red in here, look. I'm only just putting a tiny flick of it through, that's all. I think that will make a big difference. Let's go up here and add a little touch of it there. With a fine brush, look. So I think that made a big difference already, don't you? Now, my friends, that's part one finished. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm just going to take my time and we'll do the vases next. We'll continue on with some of this, getting some nice highlights and all that kind of stuff in. One thing I might do before I go is just really brighten that left side, okay? I'm going to take my flat brush and get some white, pure white. And I think I'm going to just really brighten these brights over here, okay? Like that. Just white on its own. Because after all, it is a light cream kind of a cloth. So when it's hitting the sunlight, it's really going to be bright, isn't it? And you can just soften it together nicely, whichever you like. And I might pop another little bit of that white in here. Little touch of it up here. And you can see I'm even leaving thick lumps of paint on that as well if you want, okay? That just gave you that nice impression of the fact that it's a painting. Okay, there we go. I will leave it at that. I might just add a little touch of it just here. And it's just catching the light. I presume it's like a window or something like that, so it's probably just catching the light. Soften that down into the background. Just for now. And we'll work away then later at a later stage, okay? So there we go, my friends. Let me just loosen my camera mount just for a moment. And I'll say thank you so much for joining me. I've been really enjoying this so far. Nice and simple, very loose with your brush. I think just have a bit of fun with that. And looking forward to part two. Moving on to part two very, very shortly. I will be having part two uploaded in the next day or so. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed it. You know, nice relaxed atmosphere. Thank you so much to my patrons. You're very kind, I appreciate that, for your suggestion. I have a waterfall coming up as well for you, my friends, on Patreon. So look, try it, let me know what you think. Just be nice and loose with your brush. Okay, nice and loose, just go crazy, have a bit of fun. I'll see you very soon. Thank you so much for joining me. Happy painting, my friends, and God bless.